We're going to get started seated in our chair. So now if you are slumped into that backrest, scoot on forward and scoot forward so much so that your knees are directly over your ankles. It's going to look different in every person's body, but you can almost imagine this 90-90-90 position where you have a 90-degree angle down here at your ankle, 90 degrees at your knees, and 90 degrees at your hips. And again, depending on your body and your joints and how you're feeling today, it might look a little different, but this is just the intention. It's this upright seat where I feel grounded, I feel stable through my feet and through both of those sitting bones. So maybe take a minute and shuffle from side to side, feel grounded, and then we'll align our heart over our hips and our head over our heart and come to our breath. So if it feels good, you could close down your gaze or lower it down to the ground. We'll just take a moment to arrive at today's practice. Maybe notice where you feel your breath in the body. If you're feeling it more in the chest, if you're feeling it more in your abdomen, no need to change anything right now, just notice. Maybe you notice the length of your breath, the deepness. Sometimes we breathe a little bit more shallow. Sometimes it's more deep. Just noticing. As you're ready, we'll blink open that gaze or just lift it back up to neutral and release our fingertips down by our sides. You can hold on to the chair for a moment or just release them down and allow your shoulders to relax down and away from the ears. Maybe from here you take some gentle shoulder rolls. And if at any point this doesn't feel comfortable, you can bring your hands back to your thighs. That's no problem. These shoulder rolls can be fast, they can be slow. The circles can be small, they can be big. We're just taking our time, arriving at today's practice in whatever way feels good. If it feels good, change directions. Sometimes it really feels good to just go in one direction. If that's the case, you're more than welcome to stick with it. We'll just take a couple circles wherever you're at. And then slide those shoulder blades down the back body. Release those fingertips down by your side if you moved them. And then inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, gaze can lift. Exhale, slide your hands down through heart center. Let's do that just a couple times, warming up those shoulders. Inhaling, grabbing as much air as you can, as much space as you can, and exhaling with palms touching down through heart center. Let's take one more circle. Moving at the pace of your breath. And then we'll do one more inhale back to the top and pause there. Exhale, plant your right hand, maybe grabbing onto the seat of your chair and hinge to the left. So we're coming into the side bend. Breathe into your left rib cage. Exhale, stay grounded down through both sitting bones. And then inhale, roll that left shoulder back to open up through your chest. And then exhale, come back to the shoulders stacked. Inhale, open it up. And exhale, realign. Take one more time, inhaling to open up through that collarbone. And exhale into our side bend. Inhale, rise back up. And exhale, let's twist to the right. So left hand can come to the outside of the right knee. Right hand can come wherever it's comfortable. Maybe we're holding onto our chair. Maybe we're grabbing the back of the chair. We'll just take a few breaths here. Exhaling, allowing those shoulders to keep sinking away from the ears. Sometimes it's easy when we're in a twist or we're in a side bend to kind of get those shoulders creeping back up. See if you can intentionally slide them back down. Inhale, unwind. We're going to take that to the other side. So inhale, bring those arms up and overhead. And exhale, hinge to the left. So plant that left hand, feel stable, and then take that hinge. Take a moment to breathe into that right side body. Exhale to feel really grounded. Stay grounded through both of those feet. And then inhale, roll that right shoulder back. Exhale back to the side bend. Move with your breath. We'll go through 2 more breath cycles. Your breathing can be through the nose or through the mouth. Then inhale, sweep that right arm back up overhead, just to exhale into our twist. So take it easy. Again, we're just warming up our spine, warming up our shoulders. On the inhale, maybe reach the crown of your head a little further towards the sky to find a little bit of length through your side bodies. And exhale, maybe twist a little bit deeper. One more inhale. Full breath out. Then inhale back to center. Take a moment. If it feels good, take a shoulder roll or 2. We're going to keep sticking with those shoulders by taking a wider leg stance. So you don't have to bring your feet too wide, just a little bit wider than right under those hip points or right under those knees. So take a moment. Again, you can kind of shuffle around so that you feel grounded, you feel stable. Hands can come to the tops of the thighs, maybe the inner thighs. And we're going to take some very simple shoulder dips from one side to the other. You can move with your breath, inhaling as you rise, exhaling it as you drop that shoulder. Trying to keep as much length through that torso as you can. Staying focused on the breath. Just take a couple more, maybe one more to the left. Inhale back on up, and one more to the right. And inhale back up. From here, we're going to make our way into a crescent lunge. So begin to turn to face the right side of the room and allow the chair to support the back of your right upper leg. So your right hamstring will be against the chair. You can allow that left knee to drop. Hold onto the chair if you need to, just as we find the lunge position that feels best for you. So depending on kind of the openness of this hip, of your back, of your hamstring, it might feel good to stay right here. You can also play with slowly kind of inching those left toes back. Maybe you find a little bit of length through this extension and length through this back leg. But if that doesn't feel good in your hip or anywhere in your body, take as much of a knee bend as it feels comfortable to do so. And then as you get settled in, check in with your legs. It's very easy when it comes to chair yoga to just kind of like allow yourself to be and for the chair to do all of the work. What we want to imagine is this isometric movement. And that's one of those terms that just means that our joint angle isn't moving. Our muscle length isn't moving. So we're not doing bicep curls. We're not doing tricep extensions. We are not moving, but we are engaged. And so to help that engagement, ground down through the back toe mound, really try to lift through that hamstring wherever you are. Ground down through your front foot so you can feel your quadricep engage. And then maybe even pull back with your heel to engage your hamstring. Hug your thighs towards each other so much so that you feel balanced and you can lift your arms. And maybe we hang out here for a few seconds. You could sweep your arms up and overhead. Finding some lightness in that upper body. One more full breath in. Exhale, release your hands. We're going to keep the right foot where it is, and we're just going to open up through that back leg. So if your leg's extended, you can just kind of pivot that foot. If your knee's bent, you're going to want to slowly send it on back and twist. Maybe take a few shimmies and shakes to get there. Imagine your right heel in line with the center of that right foot, and then extend those arms out to the side, warrior two. Again, find strength in those legs. Ground down through the pinky edge of your left foot. Try to roll that right hip under and then ground down through your feet. Be so strong in that lower body that you can just lift up off of your waist with this light upper body. Reach through your fingertips. And then inhale, we're gonna come into reverse warrior. So flip that front palm, slowly bring those fingertips up towards the sky. Maybe your left hand plants gently on the outside of the left leg. One more full breath in, really breathe into that right rib cage. And then exhale, slowly plant that right elbow onto the right thigh. Extend that left arm up and overhead, extended side angle. Notice if you're kind of collapsing here, it's very easy to do. If that's the case, just find a little bit of lift so both of your side bodies are long. One more full breath exchange. Then inhale, rise on up to warrior two. Exhale, release. We're going to slowly make our way back into that wide-legged forward stance. So take your time. Take little steps, little movements in whatever way feels comfortable. If it feels good in the center, maybe come back to those shoulder dips. Allow your legs to kind of recenter, refocus. Warrior two, and even that crescent lunge, it's a lot on our hips. So sometimes it feels good to take a moment to reset before going to the other side. This feels good. Maybe you just take one more shoulder dip to each side. And then let's find our crescent lunge to the left. So shifting to the left wall, the chair supports the back of our left thigh. And slowly play in this position. Explore, find what feels good. Find out how much extension in that back leg feels good in your body, especially today, because it's going to look different day to day. If your back leg is extended, see that your heel is over your toe mound. So it's very easy to kind of have your heel pressed back. See if you can find that lift so you can press back through the sole of your foot. Take a moment and find that engagement through your legs. Hug those thighs together. And this time, let's open up through the heart space. So bring your hands behind your back, palms to touch, interlock those fingers, and then send your knuckles down and away from your body. Roll your shoulders back. Again, this is going to be a test of those legs. So if we are not grounded, if we're not stable, if we're not hugging those thighs towards each other, it's going to be harder to keep our balance here. Last inhale, maybe lift your gaze, open that chest. And exhale, release. Make your way to warrior two. So again, we're finding this hip opening position where our toes are either pointed forwards or maybe slightly in. Sometimes that feels better in the body and in the hips. Take a moment to feel grounded through both of your legs. And then extend those arms out to a T. Reach energetically through both fingertips. Gaze past the left fingers. Shoulders are still stacked over the hips. So notice if you're kind of like surfing, leaning forwards here, leaning back. Find your balance. Find your center. And then inhale, flip that palm. Make your way to reverse warrior. Take your time. Really breathe into that left side body. One more inhale. And then exhale to extended side angle. And again, find length through both side bodies. So avoid that temptation to collapse here. Strong core. Find your breath. Inhale, rise back up to warrior two. We'll just be here for one full breath exchange. And then slowly make your way back to our wide-legged forward fold. And you can forward fold, that is the option. Or if it feels good, just take those shoulder dips. Move at the pace of your breath. This is a good opportunity to reconnect with that breath if you've lost it. And then as you're ready, we'll come back to our comfortable seat. From here, cross your right foot at the bottom of your left thigh. So we're coming into this figure 4 position. Flex into this ankle. So there's about a 90-degree angle. What that's going to do is protect your knee. And we're going to keep this sensation in our hip, which is where we want to feel this stretch. So on your next breath in, find as much length through those side bodies as you can. Lift the crown of your head away from your sitting bones. And then exhale, hinge forward. And so this hinge might be small. Maybe we're pressing into our chair to try to find that length and that hinge. Or maybe we're really folding over and we're able to kind of bring our gaze down towards the ground. Wherever you are, just keep that nice flexion in that ankle. If you're feeling any soreness or tenderness in that knee, back out. Because the last thing we want to do is injure anything today. We want to feel a nice stretch in that hip, and that's about it. Inhale, rise out of that hinge. We'll take it to the other side. So cross the left ankle at the bottom of the right thigh. Again, find that 90-degree angle in your ankle before you do anything else. Inhale, find length. And exhale, hinge forward. So again, maybe we're pressing into the seat of our chair to do so. Maybe we're able to hinge a little bit further. A lot of it's just going to depend on where that hip's at today. If it feels good, you could even take some gentle movements from side to side. Explore this position a little bit. Find what feels good in your body. Pause in moments that maybe need a little bit more attention. And then inhale, rise back up and release that leg. Now we're going to fully cross that right leg over the left and we're going to come into eagle arms. So extend your arms out to the side, cross that left arm under the right. And what you can do is bring your hands first to your shoulders. So your right hand's coming to your left shoulder, left hand's coming to the right. Inhale, find some lift through your elbows. Maybe this feels good for you in your shoulders. I can even turn to the side so you can see me better. And if this feels good, you can stay here. If you're looking for a little bit more sensation, maybe you bring your hands back out to this cross position. Wrap around one more time, bringing your palms to touch, and then sending those elbows up towards the sky. Find your breath. One more full breath in. Exhale, release your arms. We'll take it to the opposite side. So we're going to uncross our legs, cross the left over the right. And again, you can stay facing forward. This is just so you can see me a little better. Extend your arms out. Right crosses under left this time. You've got your option for hands on shoulders or to wrap around again, lifting those elbows in either variation. Maybe take a moment to close down the gaze. If your breath is feeling really shallow, which sometimes happens when we are in a position that might be a little uncomfortable, see if you can lengthen and deepen that breath. Release any extra tension from the body. And exhale, release those arms. And come back to your comfortable seat. I'm going to do one more pose to open up through that chest. And so I invite you to use your hands and grab your backrest and then slowly allow your chest to open, rolling those shoulders back. Maybe the gaze lifts, maybe it just stays neutral. Or pause here for a few breaths. Imagine finding length through your spine. So it's really easy to just kind of go way too much into this back bend. But imagine your head reaching as far away from your tailbone as you can while still allowing that opening through your chest. That's going to keep the sensation in your upper back body than maybe that tight feeling that sometimes you can feel in your lower back. One more full breath in. exhale, slowly rise back up. If it feels good, you can take a counter stretch by interlocking those fingers, sending the knuckles away, allowing the nose, the chin to drop. Almost coming from a seated cow into a seated cat. If it feels good, you can move through the shoulders. And then inhale, rise back up. We'll end with just a few more shoulder rolls. You can stay right here in this upright spine. If you liked that wide leg shoulder dip, you're welcome to do that as well. Just take a moment to allow everything to settle, to reset, and to invite any additional movement that feels good, especially in this heart space, in your shoulders, in your chest. Once you've taken your last minute postures, I invite you to make your way to the shavasana of your choice. So that could look like reclining in your chair and maybe extending your legs, allowing yourself to rest. Or maybe you choose to take a supine rest on your mat or on the couch or on the bed, whatever is comfortable for you today. Thanks for sharing this practice with me. I'm so appreciative of you guys joining me and sharing in these practices, and I can't wait to see you for the next one. Thank you. Namaste.